So, I think we're at meaning of the introduction.
Yes.
So, the formulation of table of contents is for the sake of helping expose the meaning of the text. Yuanzi, the Chinese commentator, as I mentioned way back, may have been the first to make such elaborate outlines. A professor in Europe, whose name escapes me, obvious, Steinkellner, Ernst Steinkellner, I guess. I think it was he. Suggested that perhaps Yuanzi, who was a Korean by the name of Wondrous, went to China, never went back. Wow, I'm forgetting things. But as I remember, never went back. But to Korea. And wrote a huge commentary on the Sutra Unraveling the Thought, Sunday Nirmochana, Dote Gondrel in Tibetan. Made an elaborate outline. In India, there were titles of chapters. That was it. And it's very helpful. Of course, in one way it looks odd with a poem to have such an elaborate breakdown of what's going on. But why not? And when you have gotten over needing the map of what's going on, you can disregard it or extract the poem which I guess I would do when I publish this. I don't know if I'd give the one version with the table of contents first, because otherwise the poem itself might just be bewildering. And the reader might put the book down, wouldn't buy it, and I couldn't make a lot of money. No, perhaps it's, always trying to think of more helpful ways to do things, present things.
I find it helpful to have the outline at the beginning and then the poem incorporated into the commentary. And then you can put the poem by itself just at the end.
In other words, the way that it was done, that I did it? Or are you suggesting a different way?
No.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Well, I don't need to thank myself.
We thank you, Brenda.
And you thank us for agreeing with you.
Yes. Validation support.
Yes.
In other words, Steinkellner couldn't find anything earlier than Wonchuk. I'm giving his Korean name. In Tibetan, it comes out as Wainsek. Wonchuk comes out of Wainsek is the Tibetan's way of pronouncing Wonchuk. Although I should ask Jongbok Yi, if Wonchuk is really pronounced Wonchuk. That's certainly what it looks like. I did ask him once, and I've forgotten what he said. But at least it wasn't so different that I felt I must change my pronunciation of the Korean. Obviously, my pronunciation of the Chinese is not perfect. Wainsek in Tibetan.
Isn't Wonchuk a Tibetan word?
No. Oh, yeah, I guess you could say that. What is that? Wang, Wang. Yeah, this is one Wonchuk. The Korean. Yeah, it sounds Tibetan, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, may the Lama who teaches nakedly just as it is. Now, certainly, because Kön-chog-jig-me-wang-po was a student of Jang-kya's, he has, of course, there's some preference. He has some standing. His commentary has some standing. But as we've seen, students of a certain Lama don't have the entire saying on what the teacher's meaning was. You know, they didn't record and everything. They weren't around for everything. You know, when you think about it, when you think about Jang-kya's extraordinary lifetime, nobody's ever said that Kön-chog-jig-me-wang-po was present all the time. And as we found with Gyaltsab, even he, who must have been present at Ganden, even he didn't seem to be entirely up on Tsongkhapa's thought. And Tsongkhapa wasn't pulling him aside all the time and saying, hey, I've come up with a new idea. Or here's my current idea. You know? And fortunately, the culture didn't feel stuck with what the two close closest disciples had to say about a topic. And it's remained extremely fluid, although the pretenses, the masks of probably when we could document how the public masks of entirely following the founder's thought got to be more and more worn. But the freedom of thought, if one goes to the debating courtyard, as I said to my fellow debaters at the School of Dialectics, you go immediately for Tsongapa's jugular. This, you cut the jugular, you kill the person. You go immediately for the jugular. But get in a more public situation, and the public doesn't necessarily mean non-clerics, but then it's the pretense, the positing of the master's thought. And then when you look at the number of different positings of the master's thought, well, you see where the freedom of thought exists. And as I said, in India, this activity is very, very juicy, very, very tasty. We all love it. Trying to posit the master's thought in order to rid the master of contradiction. May the Lama teaches nakedly as it is. And Kön-chog-jig-me-wang-po takes nakedly as clearly. Seems to be a good gloss of it. You would think I was going to take issue with Kön-chog-jig-me-wang-po. The wonderful, profound suchness of dependent arising. Suchness here doesn't mean emptiness. Truth, the as-it-isness, principle, a kindness unrepayable. Tried to think, I had a word at one point. This sounds like, what's it called nowadays? They said this about Trump. I'll give you something if you give me something.
Transactional. Grifting.
Transactional. Yeah, he is a grifter. Transactional. Using a word, it's a monetary pay. No matter how much, you give me in payment, it won't be enough. It won't be enough. You give me one Cadillac, and you're still going to have to give me a Mercedes. Give me a Mercedes, and you're going to have to give me a Benz. Give me a Benz, and you're going to have to give me a, and it goes like that. The guru is unrepayable, which means you've got to pay me endlessly. I hope you get the point of my saying instead of saying the guru, I put me in there. Just a bad joke. But that's, in fact, I don't care about myself, but why I don't like the word pay. Korme in Tibetan, like unreturnable. Can't turn it around.
Can't be compensated.
Did we just say boundless for that as well?
Well, I don't want to get away from the term that much. Is in what I'm doing. It's fine for other translators to get away from the term. Do something back. You see, core is like a wheel. Turn back. Mani korlo, wheel, korlo, wheel. You know, the guru turns it to the student, and the student turns something back. Unreturnable, but you could hardly, it doesn't, unreturnable, you know? I mean, that would be like, you know, shouting back. You're like going to a store. Here, I don't like your frickin' translation. You know, your frickin' poem. I don't like this verse. This stanza. I return it to you. I send it back. But I did have a word, I thought, at one point. Anyway, you get the point. So unrepayable is not bad. But it's rife for misuse. The English word. Or the Tibetan word too, if you stretch it. But the English word is working immediately into, you know, makes it too easy for a crap person like myself to misuse it. Like the people of Tibetans, or I don't think Mongolians, because they don't end up in Taiwan, I think. But the Tibetans, lay Tibetans, who get off the plane in Taiwan, buy or take out of, you know, buy monks' robes, you know, clerics' robes, put them on, and solicit gifts, donations. I said that in a lecture in Taiwan. Because there are billboards in Taiwan decrying against Tibetans who do that. Okay. Reside in the center of my heart. It's really marvelous. It's you know, it's not 4 lines. You can't break the, you know, the poetry is, what is it? 7 or 9 syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, profound means difficult to realize. Well, yes. What's deep yields, when you understand it, yields great results. Which, of course, it's going to be difficult to realize. It is to be applied to the suchness that is emptiness. Now, in this book, my earlier life as Jeffrey Jr. was more as a poet. And in order to translate this text, both the poetry and the prose literally, I've had to become a poet again. So, emptiness / dependent arising. That doesn't mean there's an alternative translation. It means that's more what the Tibetan looks like. And dependent arising, empty of inherent existence. It is also wonderful, full of wonders, because, and this is the language, wonderful, because while appearing, empty, and while empty, appearing. Which might be more to the point of the Tibetan, because while appearing, empty, and while empty, appearing. You know, what does it is add? Thus, the expression of worship is. It has 3 lines. The first 3 are the expression of worship, and the 4th is the promise to compose. 4th line is the promise to compose the text. Undifferentiable appearance and emptiness reside in the center of the petal lotus of the author's heart. The heart has 8 the wheel at the heart, the chakra at the heart has 8 spokes. 8 petals. I will say, so promise to compose. This means I intend to finish it. Why promise? It states your intention to finish. And he's speaking spontaneously. Thus, suddenly, what suddenly comes to the mind. And it's almost amusing that Kön-chog-jig-me-wang-po feels the need to explain few words. That few doesn't limit it to a few. I mean, and it is 3 words. Then, where I decided I better spend as much time as I could re-editing, because the first line in the version I sent to you, if you read it before the 5 minutes I gave you to read the new version, the first line read, "I like a small crazy child." I didn't have the commas in it. I, like a small, crazy child. Now, Kön-chog-jig-me-wang-po takes the crazy child, the small crazy child, in the third sentence as the mind that is the seeker of the view. Well, I would say it's also the crazy child that has just been running, also just been running around doing silly things, not paying attention to deeper topics. And then also the mind that is the seeker of the view. And when you're the seeker of the view, you're trying this, trying that, right? Giving a go at this, giving a go at that, running here, running there, in a sense. Learning this, learning that, trying to put this together, trying to put that together. But also the person who's living a life neglecting the primordial mother, Mama, who's been there all along, seeking what is the stupid Jeffrey been doing, traveling to Tahiti, trying to get to Nukuhiva on the equator for peace of mind, trying this, trying that, wanting to get some more money to buy a bigger TV, better TV, wanting to get a good guitar, make the list, make the crazy list. Feeling bad because the 80-year-old Jeffrey, feeling bad because the pizza shop down the road, down Denman Street, has gotten lousy. The last pizza, they used to have such a good, thin crust, I don't want to describe how good it was. Used to be. Where can we find a good one? So that's neglecting the aged mama, right? Where peace, but peace, as Keizun Sampo said, is not something, some sort of flabby, lying back in your lazy boy chair. Or as Maharshi said, it's, what was his word? What was his word? It's not, it's very active. What did he say? He had a word, very, it's like, peace feels like, he didn't, it's very turned on. It's very, what was his word? That's, wow, For a long time, yet seem close to knowing kind mama. How did he get to be close? He lists later, right? What he's been studying, working at, meditating, so forth. Now he feels close. And he's being modest by saying he feels close to knowing kind mama. So you see, emptiness, he's attributing the quality of kindness because knowing it is like bestowing a great kindness. Then, we like a smile, but, gives you a little thrill. We like a little piece of candy even. Somebody gives you candy, big smile comes on your face. Not recognized before, though always together with me, with you, with everybody. Through the hidden speech, through speech that works by way of meaning generalities, name generalities, meaning generalities, mixtures of name and meaning generalities, of elder brother dependent arising. Well, this is a certain type of elder brother dependent arising. I think this is not. You begin with is. Oh, this is it. And then you go through, oh, it's not that. You search it, could be it, going through this progression. So, aged mama is the noumenon, the dharmata, the noumenon, the actual nature, which is the emptiness. Mama, aged mama is called emptiness. When you, what's the town in Tibet halfway between Lhasa and Shigatse, where the huge stupa is? Gyangse, right. And you get up to the top, you're going around, and there's these, you get to each of these many corners, and you pop your head in and then go in, inside, and there's this statue. And you get up way up to the top, and of course there's only room for one statue, and it's the goddess perfection of wisdom, or transcendence of wisdom, because it's paramita. Para means gone beyond. So the goddess, and you get up to the top, and there's the golden goddess. Perfection of wisdom. Very fantastic. This our young woman, in fact, be interesting to get up there, and she's an old lady. Why not? But also, it would be a good version. Aged mama. Get up there, and there's the aged mama. There should be one like that. Why not? But she's there. She's standing, as I remember. And it's just stunning. And you realize, transcendence of wisdom. It's transcendent wisdom. Goddess of transcendent wisdom is the noumenon of the mind. To neglect it for a long time means to be unable to realize it beginninglessly to not until now. Wow. It's like being a bug crawling around until now, just trying to find a little something to eat and go back to, I don't know, do bugs go back, certain bugs probably, where their pack is and get together with them and I don't know. Or like a cicada in Virginia crawling underground and feeling warm and happy. That's your source of happiness. Looking in the wrong place. Come out after 17 years. For how long is it? And then flop on the ground. My brother said they're so loud he can't stand to go outside. That mind, the small crazy child mind, fortunately appears close to knowing kind mama. Been there all along. So it makes a great deal of sense that in Nyingma, this mind is called ordinary mind also. I mean, it's called transcendent mind, it's called ordinary mind. But wouldn't we be stupid if we thought it was this mind that was, you know, we just said, well, I've already got it, so. I don't have to do anything. So independence upon what evidence or reason is it ascertained? So you can see the remember from an earlier chapter, realization can mean shukto, implicit realization. And thus the word ascertain means doing it right now, explicit realization. So there's implicit realization and explicit realization, and scholars often use ascertain instead of realize to eliminate implicit realization. But I've talked myself into a hole because he says through inference, oh no, I'm wrong. That's explicit realization. What a lousy explainer I am. I dig my own hole, but I didn't dig it. I wasn't digging a hole. I then made a hole and jumped in it. Now I have to jump out of my hole. Generated in dependence upon the reason that is the elder brother. Now you see, I made the reason. I read the line that way. That is the elder brother dependent arising. You see, you can read that line many different ways. using dependent arising, not in a general but as a reason to promote, to lead to understanding it, so that understanding generates realization of emptiness. What seemed, you see, is. That's what that means. What used to seem is before you examined and analyzed. For instance, we started reading the second chapter, which showed us how to analyze. Before that, it was all is. Then, when sought with examination and analysis, how helpful his commentary is. In dependence upon explanations, through meaning, images. You're not realizing emptiness in direct perception, but through images. But these images can give you ascertainment. In the manner of meaning generalities. Now that just means not seeing emptiness in direct perception. And it's, as we've been saying, within that realization, as Ginnin Lutra said, you can walk through doors. Could this no nature, like unapprehendable is not be it? You're not finding it in the 7 ways. Could it be it? Yes. Here it is very appropriate. Okay, it's fine to call emptiness mama, or in Tibetan ama, mummy, mommy, mom, because in the Perfection Wisdom Sutras, emptiness is expressed by the term mother. Hooray, we got to the top of the Gyangze Gumbum. As I mentioned, Buddha Rinpoche, on whose text Tsongpo relied a great deal for information, that then Tsongpo, because, for instance, about Action Tantra, Buddha Rinpoche cataloged a whole lot of opinions, texts, and so forth. And then Tsongpo went through with reason and came up with a very radical reading, such that some even said he, in his reading, Tsongpo's explanation, he was abandoning the Dharma. Recognizing all phenomena as manifestations. People translate the word for manifestations different ways. This is the word used in Sankhya, which means manifestations. And it's manifestations of the in Sanskrit Prakriti, which is matter manifesting in the 23 other categories of phenomena. So you would find that this word, you see in highest Yoga Tantra, Sankhya terminology is knowingly used and I prefer to use this term. It's also, there are other words, sport in Tibetan Namro, the sport of emptiness. Why? Because without emptiness, these could not appear. It doesn't mean they're physical manifestations, unlike Sankhya, but without emptiness, it's impossible for them, for all of these things to appear. And when we take them as crud, when we take them as they appear, then we miss their actual nature. And in this sense, mother is a liar. Mother wears masks. Those masks are smiling, Jang-kya says. And I take the smiling to be her deceptions, because the smiles are in the mask. And the masks are deceiving. And as Buddha said, all made things, all made things, composed things, are deceptive. So, but this is, he puts the onus on the things. And Jang-kya is putting the onus of deception on emptiness, as if emptiness is deceiving us, when actually, and we have to get over that, actually, it's our own karma, it's our own misperception that deceives us. The aged mother, she's aged, why? Because she's always been with us. Primordially with us, thus aged. Nothing wrinkled about her. In essence, nothing masked about her. But within our perspective, she's masked and deceptive. Within our perspective, these things that we live within are masked, are from their side deceptive. Buddha said it. Buddha used words provocatively. So you might think you wanted to run away entirely from all of these things. Whereas you want to penetrate their nature. You want to see Mama as she primordially is. By seeing what is not. The actual meaning of recognizing all phenomena as manifestations of emptiness. These varieties of apprehendeds and apprehenders, of objects and subjects, are Mama's smiling masks. Wow. See, he's speaking from within. The changes, births, deaths, and transmigrations are Mama's lies. The relationship of emptiness and the dependent arisings, that means all dependent arisings except emptiness. These are so interwoven, so intermingled, so I removed the word intermingled in this version. But anyway, are so together that these dependent arisings that appear the way they do are Mama's lives. Undeceiving Mama, you see, when known as she is, has deceived me. The hope, my hope, Jang-kya's hope, is for elder brother, dependent arising, or the reason of dependent arising, to protect me. The subjects, all phenomena, are manifestations of emptiness. Why? It's like, why? You know, what are you? Are you a non-Buddhist? The various dependent arisings included within, it's like the range of which is all apprehendeds and internal apprehenders are the smiling masks of Mama emptiness. And these various changes, and he adds in pleasures, pains, and so forth, by the power of contaminated actions. You see? And afflictive emotions. The afflictive emotions lead to contaminated actions. Contaminated actions lead to karmas, right? They deposit karmas. Contaminated karmas lead to more afflictive emotions. Our appearances as lies of Mama emptiness. So let's stop there.